Hey, Artful Journaling students. This class is being recorded a little bit early because I was doing videos for Wednesday's campus, and why not do one for you now too? So if you already looked on the Google Doc homework page, you will see that your homework for this week is Wonky Mandalas. And if we had class together, we were going to make one in class. So make one with me when I take a break. When you need to take a break and have me stop talking, just hit the pause button so that you can go back and work on it. So remember in class last week we talked about circles, noticing circles in like wheels, cogs, clocks, gears, mandalas, and we did art in a circular fashion with the little God's eyes. You did the little teeny tiny ones. Remember, you can make a big one if you like, anytime you want. It doesn't have to fit in your Artful journal now that you've learned how to do this. Your homework was to make more of those little God's eyes and then do journaling or a short story on what is the idea behind the God's eye that you made. Okay, so Wonky Mandalas. Let me show you a picture. I've pulled up the homework page here on my iPad. Now, first thing I want you to notice is that this artist, who is from Lucy's coloring book, you can see that on your homework page. She is an Instagram, very popular on Instagram, and she uses Artful journals, and she made this mandala right through the middle of the page. So do that on your Artful journal. Don't try to necessarily fit them on one side. Now you could if you want to make a really small one. But make at least one today for the start that's going to go across the middle of your book. I put a few examples for you. Okay, so notice this here in the beginning. She did this with watercolors. And then look what she came back and did. She added all the designs on top. So let me show you a traditional mandala, because what she did was take the idea of a traditional mandala and put her own spin on it. It made it so that it was very organic and loose and free and wonky. Give me 1 second. Let's see. So of course, at any time, you can pull up Google or Pinterest and find lots of mandalas. Okay. So a mandala is a wheel, is a circle, is art that's very balanced and completely symmetrical. Here are some examples of mandalas. So you notice you could fold this in half and all of the points would equal each other. I'm trying to do this without looking. There's a mandala. There's a mandala. So, for inspiration for your own, why not go on Pinterest or Google, pull up one. Don't get caught up in, choosing so many different ones. Just pick one, randomly pick one, and use some elements of that to add in your own design. So, let me go back to Lucy's coloring book and her idea. And what you're going to notice are the circles that she made have really beautiful free-flowing edges. She's not rigid about the circles. So you don't actually have to use a compass or the bottom of a mug or a cup to make your circle. I want you to feel free-flowing about it. So I don't have an Artful journal right next to me, but I'm going to go ahead and fold my cardstock in half. I'm going to grab so. Okay, and I'm going to, since this is going to be as the middle of my page, I'm going to look at her for some guidance. And in the very middle here, I'm going to work on making, right now, I already didn't go in the middle of this page, but it's okay. I'm going to go with it. And in this next circle, I'm going to be real organic with my edge. To me, the edges really look like the edge of a fried egg. Now, here's one where she did a lot of cool ripply things to these edges. Now, I'm doing it with a pencil. Here is another method. Make your circles with watercolor, and you'll see that example there on the homework page. I showed that to you already. And then where the watercolor did a wavy, beautiful thing on your paper, you can just use your pen or your pencil to accent that waviness. All right, so I'm going to stop right there. That's what I have. And then I'm going to take a Sharpie. This one is a Bic, but it's still a Sharpie. And I'm going to come back through and give a nice outline to my edges. Okay, now it's wonky, so my edges are very organic and free-flowing. Okay, let me do one more edge for you. Let's do this big one here. So at this point, you could be pausing and getting your circles down. Pull up the Google Doc so you can have a visual for inspiration. And how are you going to color this? Are you going to did you start out making your circles with watercolor? So now you'll just do designs with this black Sharpie over top of that, or are you going to go in and color with Prismacolors, crayons, or other markers? Now, let me just do this last one for GP, and then we'll talk about putting some patterns inside of these mandala. It looks like when you see the word, a lot of Americans, because of the way our language is, makes you think of mandala. But it is actually pronounced mandala. All right, so in the middle here, when I look at Lucy's coloring book, her footsteps are very loud, they shake the table. Thank you. When I look at Lucy's coloring book, I notice here that in the middle, she put a line here. And then she had some bubbles, some circles, but they weren't really drawn as circles. They were kind of drawn by bubbles going around the outline of the circle. So I'm going to do something like this with a pencil to kind of mimic what she did. All right, this is my own pattern and it could inspire you. You can do your own thing. You don't have to do this one. Now, instead of coloring in those circles, I'm going to do the outside of those circles in this way. This is what she did. Sort of. Not exactly. But let's see. Yeah, and some of her circles are bigger, and she had more clustered together. But as you go along, you get left with these circular patterns in the middle. Okay, so I could go all the way through and encircle the circles. And then on this next row, it's really wonky because she has bigger circles and then smaller ones. Now, she used a purple marker, with an orange background. And I'm going to use this Sharpie and then go back through and color in with Prismacolor. And mine are not matching hers. I'm just doing my own thing and getting inspired by her. And you'll really notice when you look at the pictures I put up there, you can also look her up on Instagram, is that she did start with a base of watercolor. So I didn't choose to start that way, but you have your watercolors, so you might choose to start that way. Now, another thing that she did, you'll notice a lot of, are these patterns made with lines. I'm going to use a silver Sharpie. You have your silver Sharpie to make some of those lines. Now, if it's snowing outside and you're watching this today on Wednesday, or if you still have some snow and it hasn't been iced over, go out and play and come and do this when it's dark. Enjoy that weather if you're a snowbird, snow person. I'm not. I don't care for it. Okay, remember you can pause and work on some of your circles and then come back. So I'm just copying some of the things she did. Not even in the same way. Hers are much thinner and closer together, these little M's. But it's a wonky mandala, remember. Okay. And then what am I going to do with this one? I think I'm going to do like this. Okay, so here's where I am so far. The middle part, going back to. But now, I can spend a little bit of time coloring in using my Prismacolors. So I made my own coloring page. And the idea of circles, the balance of circles, the peace that's found in circles and how they represent coming back to where you began. Right now I'm going to contrast that red with some yellow. Okay, just a little bit of what I've done so far. Okay, for your homework, I want you to make 4 of these. Feel free to go right across the fold in your page and then do some journaling and writing. Maybe it won't have anything to do at all with mandalas. Maybe you're just decorating with some beauty on your pages of mandalas, but you're going to journal about what's going on with you this week, what new adventure you had, what new bit of wisdom you learned. Did you have a really, really good meal? Did you cook that good meal? I had an excellent meal this morning. I had, instead of morning, I had brunch. It was almost afternoon. And I had a very yummy tall iced latte. I make one of those most every day. Iced espresso with cream and almond milk. And then I had antipasti, which is a very Italian way of taking all sorts of vegetables and cheese and meat. And a lot of the vegetables will be pickled or preserved in oil, like olives and artichokes. I had pickled my own cauliflower and onion, and then I ate that with salami and provolone cheese. And then, total doesn't go with it, but went with it for me was guacamole. I make my own guacamole, and I have these chips that I also make, and boiled eggs. And it was so flavorful and delicious. That was my brunch. What did you have for brunch today? Okay, now I'm gonna use some pink, Prismacolor pink, and I'm coming in over top of the silver, and it kind of dulls the silver a little bit, but you can still tell it's metallic under there. The beautiful thing about Prismacolor is you can do a nice soft light coloring, or you can go really heavy and it's waxy and the colors will blend. So I can go over this with white to blend this pink and make it lighter. I can do different oranges, different reds and yellows to make my own shades of orange. I can darken up my greens. I can turn my greens into a limier color by adding some yellow, overlay some yellow over top. I can do some pink and orange and make coral. So it's great because if you have 24 colors in your pack, you really have a lot more because they blend. And you just get the most brilliant, beautiful coverage with Prismacolor. Really can't compare it to any other coloring pencil. Find them on Amazon. A lot less expensive than going into Michael's Crafts. Okay, so just like I said, I'm going to add some orange to this pink to get a more coral color. But because it's wonky, I'm not going to do it all over. I'm going to skip some patches. And in some areas, I'm going to go a little bit harder. And in some areas, I'll be softer with the pressure that I put on the color pencil. Okay, I'm going to go back over certain of those areas with pink. And let's see. Here's where I am so far. Okay, so what are you going to do with your mandala? Make 4 of them. It's on the homework page. And I can't wait to see what you do. Bring them into class next week. And also bring in all the little teeny tiny God's eyes that you made. All right, enjoy if you're watching this on Friday, have a great weekend. Enjoy your week, and I will see you in March, on March 1st. Ciao.